Hey YouTube, it's ICU and welcome to the 203rd episode of Best Tech Info and Rumors. To start off this week's episode, I wanted to say that I'm excited to announce that myself as well as Adrian and Mispo have worked with me on various projects, including Free App Life, are working incredibly hard to bring you guys an all-new unlocking service to again unlock iPhones for use on other carriers. Now this of course follows the very exciting news of the approval of the Unlocking Consumer Choice and Wireless Competition Act. And if you guys want more information on the process of unlocking as well as the news related to the act and the re-legalization of unlocking a smartphone in general, just be sure to check out last week's episode of Best Tech Info and Rumors. I go more into depth there. And if you want updates of the status of the process of creating the actual unlock service along the way, of course, just be sure to follow me on Twitter at iCrackYourIDevice, same as my YouTube channel name, as well as on Facebook at facebook.com/besttechinfo. So for those of you interested in unlocking your iPhone regardless of its firmware or its jailbroken status, just be sure to stay tuned. And now let's move on to discuss something somewhat related, Apple's upcoming next generation iPhone, the iPhone 6, something that I'm incredibly excited about and I'm sure the majority of you are excited about as well. So we have a lot to cover regarding the iPhone 6 and I'm not actually going to go over everything and recite it verbatim in this week's episode. However, I will have links to the articles discussed down below in the more info on besttechinfo.com. You can check them out there, or again, direct links can be found below. So starting off recently, the Thailand Secretary General of the National Broadcasting and Telecommunications Commission, or the NBTC for those of us who feel that that name is just a tad bit too long, tweeted that the agency approved an application that was submitted by Apple to distribute 2 new iPhone models. However, before immediately jumping to the conclusion that both of said iPhone models will be variations of Apple's forthcoming iPhone 6, like the Thailand Secretary General of the NBTC did, let's take into consideration the model numbers of the approved devices. So Apple reportedly filed the application on August 5th, which was approved 3 days later for 2 iPhones, one with the model number of A1586 and the other A1524. Now the former of which likely belongs to Apple's next generation iPhone, the iPhone 6. However, the latter of the 2 iPhones in the import application likely isn't anything too spectacular. It's likely that the new A1524 model is a minor revision to the lower end iPhone 5C. Now while it's still possible that Apple may yet announce a 5.5-inch iPhone 6 variant, this report in conjunction with an analyst's prediction seemed to suggest otherwise. Also, in a more recent and displeased move, Apple apparently requested a meeting with the Thai officials at the NBTC to further discuss the public announcement of the approved iPhone models. Apple also emphasized that the new device or devices may not necessarily be dubbed the quote iPhone 6, further suggesting that only one of the devices may be Apple's next generation iPhone, while the other could be an improvement to the iPhone 5C. And now moving on to another report concerning the iPhone 6, ensuing numerous alleged leaks, including my own in-depth HD look and comparison between a leaked rear shell component for the iPhone 6 and the corresponding component for the iPhone 5S. An image of what's claimed to be a fully assembled iPhone 6 logic board or motherboard was leaked. And if authentic, the image showcases a number of connector and mounting points for various internal components for the iPhone 6. Also, it appears as though a new purported component for the next generation device may have solved the quote mystery of the circular LED flash cutout on the rear housing of the device. So as a refresher for some of you, when Apple released the iPhone 5S, they introduced what the company has coined as True Tone Flash, which is essentially a dual LED flash system to improve the color accuracy of images when taken with the flash enabled. And due to the nature of True Tone, Apple was required to vertically elongate the flash cutout on the iPhone 5S to accommodate for the addition of a second LED module. And every claimed iPhone 6 leak thus far has featured a circular cutout for the LED flash, which seemed to have been a step backwards. And answers to the circular LED cutout mystery, as well as a more detailed analysis, can be found in the corresponding post on Best Tech Info, which again can be found below. And moving on, I want to talk about Samsung's upcoming Galaxy Note 4 briefly. So according to a new leak that helps solidify some previous assumed specifications for Samsung's upcoming gigantic Galaxy Note 4 phablet, the device was allegedly detailed in a new retail listing, which includes a complete alleged specification sheet. So according to the listing, Samsung's Galaxy Note 4 will boast an impressive 4 GB of RAM, a 5.7-inch 1440 by 256 Super AMOLED display, an improved 16 megapixel rear-facing camera with a dual LED flash system not unlike the iPhone 5S, and either an octa-core or quad-core Snapdragon processor depending on the device's country of origin. It's also said that customers will be able to choose between 16, 32, or 64 GB internal storage capacities, not including the SD card slot for expandable storage up to 128 GB. And if you guys are interested in the Galaxy Note 4, and if you want to vote on whether you think the phablet will outsell Apple's iPhone 6, just be sure to check out the post. Alright, and finally I wanted to briefly discuss jailbreaking for some of my new viewers in this week's episode. So, you can jailbreak iOS 7.1.2, Apple's latest public firmware, fully untethered on any iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch model as of recording this video using the Pangu team's all-new Pangu Untethered jailbreak. Of course, though, you should definitely jailbreak as soon as possible if you have yet to, as Apple will most certainly patch the untethered Pangu jailbreak with the release of iOS 8 later next month. However, shouldn't there be a step between iOS 7.1.2 and iOS 8 to correct the various issues that users are experiencing with 7.1.x? One would think, but it hasn't been done yet. And if 7.1.3 isn't released to patch the jailbreak, as well as the aforementioned complications with 7.1.x, that would mean that Pangu would go unpatched until iOS 8.0, which is a scenario that hasn't occurred since Apple left the Absinthe 2 5.1.1 jailbreak unpatched until iOS 6.1 public. So again, it is a great time for jailbreakers, especially without 7.1.3. However, Apple could still release it prior to issuing iOS 8 to the public, so just be sure to watch out. And of course, if they do, I will create videos warning you guys to avoid the update. But as for the exciting iOS 8 with all of its new features, including continuity to further bridge the gap between iOS and OS X, as well as actionable notifications and all of the new developer APIs, imagine an iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch with all of the new improvements iOS 8 has to offer, fully jailbroken untethered. That would be quite a potent and desired mix. However, in order for that to come to fruition, a jailbreak would first need to be created, which, as I've stated numerous times in my various videos throughout the years, is no easy task. And I'm sure the question the majority of you are asking now is whether an iOS 8 jailbreak is being developed, and the answer is a surprising yes. As iOS hacker and security expert Stefan Esser, better known by his online handle Ionic, mentioned prior to the release of Pangu, quote, iOS 8 jailbreak will be a bloodbath, because according to the hacker, quote, at least 2 or 3 groups financed by Chinese companies racing for release, one of which likely being the Pangu team. Of course, the various Chinese teams will likely be up against the Evaders, the incredible and legendary team of iOS hackers that brought us the original Evasion utility to jailbreak iOS 6.0 through 6.1.2, as well as Evasion 7 to jailbreak iOS 7.0 through 7.0.6. But again, the current Pangu jailbreak will be patched sooner or later, so just be sure to check down below in the more info. I will have a link to my in-depth tutorial that will walk you through all of the steps required to jailbreak an iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch fully untethered on 7.1.2. And don't forget, if you guys like this video and you're interested in winning my $100 Amazon gift card giveaway, just be sure to rate it up and leave a relevant comment down below in the comment section. Once you've done that, visit bit.ly/getfreeapplife or freeapplife.com inside of mobile Safari. And then once downloaded, install sponsored apps for points and redeem said points for various prizes, including paid applications, gift cards, and bigger electronic devices. And also on that note, we are working very hard to improve Free App Life on a daily basis. We're actually building an all-new sponsored offers system that will allow us to directly contact and deal with the developers of the various sponsored apps that will appear on Free App Life in the future. Currently, we utilize third-party intermediary networks to actually provide the offers you can download and install inside of Free App Life. So once we get our own sponsored offers up on the service, we can guarantee a 100% success rate of said offers. And of course, just be sure to stay tuned for more on Free App Life updates, as well as my upcoming Unlock service. You can also visit facebook.com/freeapplife for additional giveaways. And if you guys want to be updated more often, such as when I release new videos covering various things like jailbreak and iPhone 6 related topics, just be sure to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, add me one of your circles inside of Google+, follow me on Instagram at ICUID, and subscribe to my secondary YouTube channel at youtube.com/ICUID. And until next time, this is ICU signing out.